Hello, I am your teacher, Mr. Pacitti, and this is my classroom right here in Austin, Texas. So put away your mobile phones, put away your boglins, it's time to concentrate, it's time to study. This is SmackDown Live, and this is Graded. We kick things off with the SmackDown Live General Manager Paige, who is in the ring, and she reiterates that she has sanctioned the first ever women's TLC match at TLC in just a couple of weeks. There's chairs, there's tables, there's ladders, hence the name. The belt is hung up above the ring. I never understand why the champion lets that happen. Like, that's Becky's belt. We know what a belt looks like. We don't need the visual of it dangling. Why am I complaining about this? Pathetic. Paige introduces the woman who won last week's Battle Royal to make that match a triple threat, the Empress of Tomorrow, Asuka. She is followed by the Queen, Charlotte Flair, and then out comes the man, TM, Becky Lynch. Becky grabs the mic first and says that she makes history every single time she steps in the ring and that TLC is going to be no different. And then Charlotte grabs the mic and says that she picked up the ball that Becky dropped by facing Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series, and that it only took one punch from Nia Jax to bust Becky's face open. A point that, I don't know, I feel like we're past the Nia stuff now. I would have preferred that not to have been mentioned, but no major complaint. Asuka interrupts and points out that Becky Lynch has already beaten Charlotte Flair, but she has never beaten Asuka, and that Asuka would have beaten Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series, and she's going to beat Becky Lynch at TLC. Then Charlotte points out that she beat Asuka at WrestleMania. Logical and fun. Becky says that neither woman could have beaten Ronda Rousey and that neither woman can beat her. And then she signs the contract and she walks to the back, and Charlotte's shouting, "I'm gonna beat you, Becky, and I'm gonna beat you, Asuka." Everyone's gonna beat everyone, basically. I guess that's the point of wrestling, beating each other. But not much else was said here. It was just each woman pointing out who's beaten who and how they're going to beat both of them at TLC, and that was pretty much it. Asuka and Charlotte sign the papers. It looks like those two are about to kick off, but they are then interrupted by Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, and a tag team match is set up for right now, Mandy and Sonya versus Charlotte and Asuka. Opening promo was fine, I'm giving it a B. It did its job continuing the hype for TLC, and it was nice to see a contract signing that didn't end with a table being pushed over. Onto the match, which was a really decent opener. Asuka working the arm of Sonya Deville in the early stages, the babyfaces largely in control. Then about halfway through the match, out comes Becky Lynch, who doesn't want to watch the match from backstage. No, she's going to come and join commentary. Mind games. The heels end up taking control, and then Asuka makes the hot tag to Charlotte Flair. She batters everyone, but then when Asuka is on the ring apron, Charlotte just boots her in the face, and commentary tried to make out like Charlotte thought it was Mandy Rose, despite the fact that Asuka and Mandy Rose look very, very different in lots of ways. Asuka has blue sort of rainbow hair, whatever, and they just don't look the same. Asuka retaliates, kicking Charlotte in the face, which allows Sonya to make the pin and pick up the win. Loved this. Sonya and Mandy able to pick up a deserved win, especially after Sonya's standout performance in last week's Battle Royal. I thought she was great there. So to see that team pick up the win with no harm being done to the babyfaces is very good indeed. It furthered the story, introducing tension between all of the competitors involved in that women's TLC match, and it was just a really, really good opener. I'm giving this one a B+. To me, this is what the women's revolution is really about. It's not about these first evers, these historic events. It's not about the first ever women's pay-per-view. It's not about the first ever women's main event. It's about introducing characters and storylines on a fundamental level that get people engaged and that people connect with on a weekly basis. And I think SmackDown is doing an incredible job of that right now. Next up is a singles triple threat match. Xavier Woods versus Jey Uso versus Cesaro ahead of the tag team triple threat match at TLC. The Bar versus the Usos versus the New Day, which should be a TLC match. Please. A fast-paced match, as you would expect, a few big spots, the biggest, of course, being during the commercial break, Cesaro trashing the pancakes. Seriously though, we saw big uppercuts, we saw near falls, we saw dives to the outside. The New Day were very funny on commentary, and this match once again served its purpose. It got me hyped for their match at TLC. And you know what? I'm going to subscribe to the WWE Network for $9.99. Hashtag thank you Road Dogg. There was a really cool moment where Cesaro swings around Jey Uso with Xavier Woods on his shoulders like the absolute unit that he is. Please give this man a world title soon. And unfortunately, it doesn't go well for Cesaro. He eats a super kick and the Usos, well, Jey Uso for the Usos, picks up the win. This match gets a B. I would have actually liked to see Xavier Woods win this one because I'm not quite sure how the New Day qualified to be in that tag title match at TLC. Like, what have they done? And at least that would have given them a bit of ammunition. It's like, hey, I beat you in singles action, but no, that didn't happen, which is, I'm not going to complain too much, right? Because I actually think that the match at TLC will be better with the New Day being a part of it. I think it'll be more exciting, especially when Paige makes it a TLC match on next week's SmackDown, please. Quick backstage promo with Rusev, who says how hungry he is, but not for chicken, not for cheese, not for yogurt. He's hungry for his United States title, and he's going to feast on Shinsuke Nakamura on Rusev Day. It's hot. Back to the ring, and it's time for the most must-see talk show in WWE history, Miz TV. Miz is quickly interrupted by R-Truth and Carmella, who come out, they do their dance break. People seem to enjoy it. I'm not the biggest fan, but there they are. That's their bit on TV. That's an easy payday for both of them. Anyway, Miz's guest tonight is Daniel Bryan. Wait, no! It's the new Daniel Bryan. Bryan comes out, he doesn't do his whole yes chant on the way to the ring. Don't give the people what they want, you're a heel, Danny boy, I like it. Bryan says that everyone thought the old Daniel Bryan was smart, but how smart could the old Daniel Bryan have been when he spent his time catering to these people? Ugh. So Bryan is getting watted after every little thing he says, what, from the crowd. And he deals with it expertly. He says that the crowd is fickle and they're doing this stupid thing from 20 years ago because they can't help themselves. They were shut down immediately. Genuine heat for Bryan and put an end, for now, to the very tedious what chant and allowed him to get on with the promo, which was so good. Daniel says that sure, he may have kicked one man in the balls, but these people are responsible for destroying the earth every single day. These people are the ones drinking from their plastic water bottles. These people are the ones eating their factory farmed meat, which emits methane, destroying the planet. You want to count sins? Sure, Daniel Bryan, he may have kicked one man in the cock. But you lot are committing multiple atrocities every single day. Count the sins. Miz says that he saw right through Daniel Bryan and he has one simple question and he wants one simple answer from Daniel Bryan. And that question is he WWE champion because he listened to the Miz? And Daniel Bryan says, yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. No. It doesn't matter. And there's only one thing that does matter, and that is that the old Daniel Bryan is dead. The yes movement is dead, and you people, you're fickle. 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 Then out comes AJ Styles, he's going for Bryan, but Bryan pushes the Miz in front of AJ Styles, manages to escape Styles, and then Miz hits AJ Styles with the skull-crushing finale. This promo gets an A. Put simply, this is one of the defining promos of Daniel Bryan's career, and from start to finish, it was fantastic. We all know how wonderful Daniel Bryan is in the ring, but this was a simple reminder of how great a character Daniel Bryan is also. Every character that has been given to him, he has absolutely nailed, and this new Daniel Bryan, this I am very smart, instantly detestable vegan, it's great. It's absolutely great, and it's exactly what Daniel Bryan's career needed. I think you can tell how much I enjoyed this. I could talk about this for so much longer, but not only did Daniel Bryan's character evolve last night, but he still managed to make the WWE title seem like the most important thing in the company, as it should do. He used his real-life persona, or elements of his real-life persona, to create this utterly horrible character, this pretentious, self-righteous dick. And he did it so well. A well-deserved A. Next up, it's Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton, fresh off of Randy Orton's attack last week on Rey Mysterio. Pretty much exactly what you would expect from a Jeff Hardy-Randy Orton match. Randy Orton taking it to the outside in the early stages, with Jeff Hardy making a comeback later in the match. So at the end of the match, Jeff lays Orton on the commentary table. He goes up top. It looks like Jeff is going to do something very Jeffy. And then Samoa Joe appears on the Titantron and causes a distraction, which allows Orton to hit the RKO out of nowhere and pick up the win. After the match, Joe appears on the Tron again and does a quick piece to camera, this pseudo public service announcement where he warns the fans of the dangers of drinking and insists that they drink responsibly. The match itself would have only gotten a C+ were it not for the promo, which brings this one up to a B. I love it when they incorporate real-life personal issues into storylines as long as it's tastefully done, and this is doing exactly that. Jeff is obviously in a really good place right now, making this quite not comfortable viewing, that's the wrong word, but it's compelling, and it's very difficult in current day WWE to create compelling storylines when there's no belt involved. But Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy, especially Samoa Joe, doing exactly that. Main event time, and it's The Miz versus AJ Styles. Before the match, Daniel Bryan is interviewed backstage, and they ask what he's doing here. And Daniel Bryan says, "I don't run. In fact, I'm gonna go to commentary. I wonder how this one's gonna end." Bryan was great on commentary, by the way. At one point he was asked what his daughter would think of the new Daniel Bryan, and he said that he hopes that Birdie kicks all the men in the groin that she can find. He wants her to kick 10 men in the groin, 100 men in the groin, 1,000 men in the groin, especially Byron Saxton. Gold. Later in the match, AJ Styles kicks out of the skull-crushing finale after Daniel Bryan had tried to interfere, and then locks in the calf crusher, and The Miz taps out, AJ Styles picking up the win. This was another good match. It's one that would have gotten a B, but because of Daniel Bryan's contributions on commentary, I'm going to bring that up to a B+. Daniel Bryan last night did a great job just with that promo and then being on commentary of getting over what his heel character is. We know exactly what he's about just from last night's SmackDown, something that we didn't entirely know beforehand, and yeah, he just did a really, really great job. After the match, Bryan attacks AJ, locking in the heel hook and then just stomping on AJ's head again and again. What a horrible vegan. Bryan then stands on the commentary desk, grabs a mic and says, "What, you people don't approve? Fickle. You people don't cheer? Fickle. You people don't love the new Daniel Bryan? Fickle. Fickle. Fickle," and then just goes and attacks AJ once again to close the show. Another brilliant episode of SmackDown, and I can't quite decide what to give this one. Is it a B+ or is it an A? It's an A. Leave your grade by clicking the I don't know where it is. I find myself repeating what I've said in previous weeks here, but SmackDown is so good because there's really good wrestling, sure, but there's always great character development and storyline development, and it's a show that just makes sense. There's continuity, and that is a point that I'm happy to repeat. SmackDown and Raw are like chalk and cheese at this point. SmackDown is concise, consistently entertaining, and Raw, not just because of the 3-hour runtime, but it feels like a slog, and that's a shame. Actually, it's not a shame, because I don't have to review it. Cheers, Jack. Also, before I go, this is actually the last Graded in this classroom, because from next week, I'll be presenting Graded from our new underwater studio. With that will come some slightly harsher grades. In fact, they'll all be below sea level. So that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and you can follow me on Twitter here. If you enjoy what we do here at Cultaholic, you can pledge to our Patreon. That's patreon.com/Cultaholic. And most importantly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us. Blah, 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 blah.